Good afternoon. We're here today with Fire Chief Ed Davis, and he's going to talk to us about the fire codes here in Hot Springs. So, what were these last changes made to the fire code, and how do these changes affect downtown building owners?
That's a great question. When the Hot Springs Fire Department began the process of reforming the fire district downtown, we wanted to address several issues. One was we needed a way to be able to assist in the rehabilitation of the buildings downtown. Obviously, applying the state building code, which would be volume 2 of the fire code, to these structures was going to be massively expensive. There were some situations in some of those buildings that were extremely unsafe. I'm not saying all downtown buildings were unsafe, but we had 24 of them that were of major concern to us. And so one of the things we wanted to do was to find a way that would allow the buildings to be made safe in the cheapest possible manner. We looked through a lot of different codes. We finally settled on a code that's referred to as the existing building code. It's a product of the International Building Code Council. We felt like that it was probably the best fit for Hot Springs. We went through the State Fire Marshal's office, got his permission to apply it, and then whenever we formed the Thermal Basin Fire District, we put in as one of the tenets of that the existing building code would be applied to those buildings that were in existence within downtown at that time. What the existing building code allows you to do is to take an older building and to establish proper means of egress in it and apply a fire sprinkler system to it and be able to make that building at a level of safety that is acceptable. In other words, life safety has to be the primary focus. Saving the buildings is the next issue. And so what we want to do is we want to make the building safe, not just for the occupants of the building, but also for firefighters or police officers or EMTs who might have to go into the building to rescue someone. It could be anyone from a property owner to a tenant, even a trespasser for that matter.
Right. Okay. How much notice were building owners given before the changes to the fire code took place?
Well, there was a lot of discussion that went on with that.
I can imagine.
It was quite a brouhaha. People were concerned, rightly so. We began the process talking with building owners and all in 2013. We actually began sending letters out and on community meetings in January and February of 14. And then we began implementation of the Thermal Basin Code in March after the Majestic Fire.
Okay, so there's a question I have on that. December 17th, 2013, there was a city council meeting, and they had said, look, if we know we have to get these up to code, we're going to have to pass this law, we're going to help you with these grants and stuff. Has the city found grant money? I mean, has the city helped with that to an extent? I mean, what kind of extent have they actually done any assistance?
I don't know if the board of directors said they were going to do that.
It was at a city council meeting in December 17th,
I know
2013.
that there was some people from the Chamber of Commerce and some other folks that had said that that they would do that. I know that there have been building owners that have applied for grants and things like that downtown. I don't know what the status of it is, whether or not someone has actually received one or not. I know that there are tax credits that are available and there are actions that are in process right now for certain property owners to be able to get those, but that's an effort that the property owner has to make.
Okay. How long since we've passed this law about, or this compliance code downtown, this fire code, how long do the owners have to comply with this?
That's a great question. The planning phase actually began in March of 2014.
Okay.
The planning phase went from March of 2014 to October of 2014.
Okay.
At that point in time, the property owners were given notice that they needed to find design professionals, architects or engineers to be able to come up with a plan to make the property safe. After October the 1st of 2014, we entered into the enforcement phase. The first phase of the enforcement phase runs from October through April of 2015. And at that point in time, the first actions have to be done to be able to make the first floor of these structures safe. And so what we're doing is we're doing it one floor at a time in 6 months increments. Some of these buildings will have up to 7.5 years, the tallest ones, to be able to do full compliance.
Okay. How many historic buildings have you been able to inspect thus far since this went into effect?
Oh, wow. We've been in I couldn't give you a number. We've been in a lot of them. All of the 24 and the vast majority of the other buildings downtown we've been in at some point in time the last year and a half to 2 years.
So downtown, okay, so when you keep saying 24, you mean there are 24 historic buildings downtown that
There are 24 unsafe structures within the thermal basin, commercial structures that we are addressing.
And how many historic buildings are there downtown that there are?
There are
that you know?
a ton of them. You
don't know the exact number?
I do not know the number.
Okay, don't worry about that. Was there any particular reason why you decided to inspect the Wade building, or was it just part of all of the other ones you were inspecting?
It was just an issue of fairness. It was a thing to where that folks were asking, hey, are you going to the Wade building? Are you going to the Wade building? Yes, we were going to the Wade building, and we did inspect it. It was included into the original batch of the structures.
Okay. What do you attribute to the downtown building owner's failure or resistances to fire code compliance?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
What do you attribute to the downtown building owner's failures or resistances to fire code compliance so far?
Well,
is money an issue?
Money is a huge issue, and that, it's not a small issue.
Right.
It is a large one. If you own a multi-story building and you are going to have to make that building safe, it will require an outlay of capital.
Right.
And, I'm not here to judge people's, financial standing. Some say they have the money, some say they don't. The issue is, though, is that you have a fiduciary requirement if you own a large building to keep that building safe, just like someone who has a small building has a fiduciary requirement to keep the building safe.
Right. What is the average building owner's cost to comply?
That would be an estimate that I could not make.
Okay, I figured, but somebody told me to ask that anyway. It's our understanding that you were able to keep these new codes less stringent in the downtown area here than regular state codes, and this is true.
Right.
In what way is it less stringent than state codes?
The existing building code allows you to be able to continue to stay in a structure that you would not be allowed to operate if we applied the state building code to. I mean, it allows you to continue to operate a building without rated walls, rated corridors, rated doors, door closers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Okay.
It uses fire sprinkler systems to be able to, in many cases, to replace those fire protection features that otherwise would be required.
Okay. And how would you address the accusations that this is a land grab by the city?
Well, considering the city of Hot Springs doesn't have any money and doesn't have the capability to be able to grab any land. I mean, it is a situation where that you can't take something away from someone without giving them fair market value. Mm-hmm. And so, it is a thing to where that the city of Hot Springs wants the property owners just to make their building safe. I mean, if you look at it, and I would challenge you to do this, go back and look at the tax records and see how much of the property the city has condemned in the past that they still actually own. They don't keep it. It would be the same way downtown. Okay. Anyone that says that is really not making an accusation based in truth.
Okay. We'll skip this one. Is the water system enough to support the sprinkler systems needing to be?
Well, it will be very soon. The city is in the process of laying those dual 12-inch mains. We will have the ability to be able to have the kind of water downtown that we need to be able to deal with large-scale fires, and at the same time be able to support not just the fire protection, but the potable needs of those structures.
Okay. I have one more question on that. Let me think what it was. Oh, yeah. When do you guys expect that? Do you think that might be done, these water mains?
Well, we've done the west side. Those are
when you say west side?
The west side of Central Avenue.
Okay.
And so they're working on the east side now. They started at Fountain Street a few weeks ago, and they're working their way up Central Avenue north to just right around where Fat Jack's is at. Okay. And what they're basically doing is just interconnecting the mains to increase fire flow. And they're also, looking at the taps, the way that they're set up. If there's a way that the city can, save a property owner headaches in the future, they're making new taps and things like that. So.
Okay, cool. All right, so my last question is stop, drop, and roll still the best way to put a fire out on yourself?
And if you're on fire, stop, drop, and roll is the thing that works. And,
okay.
I've seen it work so many times, and it's easy to panic. When you're on fire, it is so easy to panic, and you hear the psychologists talk about the fight or flight reaction, and it is so true. I mean, but if you will use your head and you will stop and you will just roll on the ground, it will greatly reduce the amount of fire. I mean, and so much so that you'll be able to you should be able to pat the rest of it out with your hand.
Okay.
I mean, it does work.
Okay, good. Can my son come up here and ride on your, get on the fire truck one day?
If you'll call any point in time, anybody's welcome to come down to the firehouse, look at the fire apparatus, and meet their firefighters. I encourage it.
All right, cool.
It's a good way for you to understand, a little bit about the people that are coming to your aid, if you have a fire, or if, you have a situation where you need to be rescued, whether you're in an automobile accident and are entrapped or trapped in a piece of industrial machinery. There's a lot of different things that the firemen do on rescues that, people really don't realize. So it'd be good to come down and meet them and look at their equipment.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good day. Thank you.